Following the 2006 Dutch general election, held on November 22, a process of cabinet formation started, involving negotiations about which coalition partners to form a common program of policy and to divide the posts in cabinet. On February 22, 2007 it resulted in the formation of the Fourth Balkenende cabinet. Background: Conventions of formation. The Netherlands has a large number of political parties across the political spectrum in the parliament, with no single party holding a majority. During the formation process, a coalition is formed, usually consisting of 3 parties. Dutch coalition negotiations are conventionally conducted in 2 stages. Information. An informateur, a relative outsider and a veteran politician, is appointed by the Queen, after consultation with the Presidents of the Senate and the House of Representatives and the Vice President of the Council of State and all chairs of parliamentary parties with seats in the House of Representatives. He explores the options for new cabinets, which have both a majority in Parliament and programmatic agreement. Formation. A formateur is appointed by the Queen. He leads negotiations between parties willing to cooperate to form a cabinet. He leads the negotiations on exact agreements, the division of government portfolios and the personal composition of the cabinet. He is traditionally the leader of the largest party in the coalition and the prospective prime minister. Election results. The Dutch House of Representatives has 150 seats. In the 2006 elections, the coalition partners of the cabinet in power before the fall of that cabinet earlier that year lost a total of 12 seats. Christian Democratic Appeal lost 3 out of 44. The right-wing Liberal People's Party for Freedom and Democracy lost 6 out of 28 and the centre-left Liberal D66 lost 3 of 6. Nevertheless, the CDA remained the largest party in the parliament with 41 seats. The main opposition party, the Social Democratic Labour Party, lost 9 of its 42 seats, getting 33 seats in the new parliament. The largest winner in seats was the Socialist Party, which won 16 seats, increasing from 9 to 25 seats. 2 previously unrepresented parties were also successful, the far right-wing Party for Freedom of former VVD MP Geert Wilders, winning 9 seats, and the Animal Rights Party for the Animals, winning 2 seats. The Social and Orthodox Protestant Christian Union doubled its seats from 3 to 6. Green Left dropped from 8 to 7 seats, while the Orthodox Reformed Political Reformed Party remained stable with 2 seats. Caretaker Cabinet. The cabinet fell because D66 stepped out. The resulting Balkenende III cabinet no longer had a majority in Parliament. Like any minority cabinet, it had to negotiate with parties that were not member of the governing coalition for a majority of its bills, including the budgets. As is conventional, just before the elections the cabinet officially became a caretaker cabinet, with limited powers. On November 30, 2006 the new parliament was sworn in, including several members of the current demissionaire cabinet. Because of the election results, this House of Representatives had a majority of parties that opposed the course of the third Balkenende cabinet on important issues. One important election issue was an amnesty for a specific group of asylum seekers. This group, originally of 26,000 and later 38,000 people, had been in an administrative process since 2001. Many of their children were raised exclusively in the Netherlands. The Minister for Integration and Immigration, Rita Verdonk, was currently looking into each of these dossiers to assess their future, either an expulsion or permanent residence. On December 1, the new House of Representatives adopted a motion in favor of amnestying this group. Balkenende reacted with annoyance as he stated that this ad hoc left-wing coalition was no good basis for negotiations for a stable government. On December 5, the cabinet announced that it refused to execute this motion. It had 3 reasons for this. First, it claimed that a parliament which deals with a caretaker cabinet cannot demand that cabinet to implement new policy. Second, it argued that a general amnesty would only attract more asylum seekers, and it also raised several questions on which specific groups of asylum seekers should be amnestied and what the legal consequences would be for other groups not included in the amnesty. Minister Verdonk did announce that the expulsion would be suspended until the next parliamentary debate. A majority in the House of Representatives now proposed stopping the expulsion of asylum seekers until the formation talks were finished and allowing the formation talks to solve this issue. Again, the minister refused to execute this. On December 13, the House of Representatives decided to respond to this unwillingness with a motion of no confidence specifically aimed at Minister Verdonk. The leader of the VVD, Mark Rutte, announced that if Minister Verdonk were forced to leave the cabinet, all VVD ministers would leave, leaving only 7 CDA ministers in the cabinet. On December 14, the cabinet held a meeting on how to respond to this motion. It found the solution in a small reshuffle of portfolios between Verdonk and Ernst Hirschballen, the Minister of Justice, who became responsible for migration, while Verdonk became responsible for youth criminality. Hirschballen could then partially execute the motion of the House of Representatives of the Netherlands, House of Representatives, for a temporary stop in expulsion, and the VVD would be allowed to voice its opposition to this decision, breaking the principle that cabinets speak with one voice. Possible coalitions. With the current results, there are arguably 4 options for a stable majority coalition: left-wing, centre-left, centre-right, or right-wing. All of these options would present historically unique coalitions. Also, since 1977, when the 3 major Christian parties united in the CDA, all cabinets have consisted of only 2 or 3 parties. This time, no 2-party coalitions are possible and few of the 3-party options are plausible. A centre-left coalition would consist of CDA, at least one of the left-wing parties PVDA or SP, and at least one third party. The first option that is being considered is of the 3 major parties, CDA, PVDA, SP. Since 1958, only 2 cabinets have been larger than this. Variations may include swapping the SP for either the Christian Union or the Green Left, or the PVDA for both of these smaller parties. However, there are some problems with this formation. PVDA leader Wouter Bos and CDA leader Jan-Peter Balkenende were unable to form a 2-party coalition in 2003, because of personal problems, which are unlikely to have diminished. Over the past half-century, CDA-PVDA coalitions have proven to be unstable. Furthermore, both the PVDA and the SP had pointed out during their campaign that the differences between CDA and PVDA have never been so great. Another issue is that in the CDA-PVDA-SP coalition, the largest party, which has profiled itself as a winner of the election, would be a minority compared to the 2 left-wing parties. Finally, although the SP has dropped its most extreme plans, it still has large programmatic differences, mainly with the CDA but also with the PVDA. A left-wing coalition would consist of PVDA and SP supported by the Christian Union, the Green Left, D66 and the Party for the Animals. This seems unlikely because D66 has already announced that it will not enter in any coalition and the Christian Union has already excluded a cabinet. Without the CDA, the Party for the Animals has, however, announced that it considers a minority cabinet PVDA-SPGL as a serious option that may count on its support. A right-wing coalition would consist of the CDA and VVD, supported by either Party for Freedom and the Christian Union or the Christian Union, D66 and the SGP. However, the Christian Union has announced that it will not cooperate with prominent VVD member Rita Verdonk because of her strict immigration policies. In addition, no party is likely to want to enter into a cabinet with the PVV on account of its positions on Islam. A center-right coalition would consist of the CDA, PVDA and the VVD, which would also constitute a large cabinet. This may prove to be the final option, but due to immense differences both on left, right and conservative progressive dimensions, any such cabinet is likely to be a caretaker cabinet only, which will not propose any significant policies. A similar coalition currently forms the Flemish government. The table to the left shows the possible majority coalitions, that is, coalitions with at least 76 seats. The table shows only options with as few parties as needed to reach those 76 seats. All majority coalitions require at least 2 of the 4 major parties, but neither of the 6 combinations of 2 of these parties have a majority of their own. These are shown in bold, with the number of seats between brackets. Other options: other coalitions could be formed by adding more parties to one of these combinations. This might be done to either make too narrow a majority larger, to give a party that could otherwise be overwhelmed a like-minded partner, or to introduce a neutral referee in an otherwise tense combination. Such larger-than-needed coalitions have been constructed 7 times since World War II, mostly in the first decade after the war. At the other extreme there is the option of a minority cabinet, with less than 76 seats. Such a cabinet has to arrange ad hoc majorities for each proposal. Minority cabinets have so far only been caretaker cabinets that were in power between the fall of a majority cabinet and the formation of a new one, after subsequent elections. There is, however, no legal reason why this type of cabinet cannot be formed after the elections.